February the 27th, 2026. Guys, there seems to almost be a mainstream media blackout on a lot of information coming out of Iran right now. But let's talk about that. We have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least 5, and there's others, but 5 that are pretty much positive IDs on U.S. strikes or possibly U.S. ally strikes. We have a couple in that area. Parchin military complex in the Tehran province. Multiple reports and social media footage on February the 27th, that's the day, that shows thick black smoke rising from the sensitive military facility. Now, I've got some of these marked on a map, and I'll show those to you. Then Paran, southwest of Tehran. It says local citizen reported hearing an explosion followed by rising smoke columns. State media has attributed previous recent smoke in this area to vegetation fires and riverbank reed beds. Well, we've got, I'll show you some images from there. These are not reed bed fires. Bandar Abbas, southern Iran, a massive explosion and fire rocked the Raja port today, injuring at least 115 people. Authorities have not yet confirmed the cause for the blast as the major container at this major container facility. As they've been getting a lot of shipments in from China and Russia for military supplies. And you're not going to sneak anything under the satellites these days. It's too sensitive. They know, and especially if they know where to look. Also, the Sharan oil depot, northwest Tehran, heavy wildfire and an explosion were reported near the strategic fuel facility. Why don't they back that up, the explosion and then a heavy wildfire? But again, there you got the Ardabil, northwestern Iran. Intense black smoke was seen following a series of explosions at an oil warehouse. Yes, sure, they're all random. And it's really been going on for a few days, but it intensified today. And again, somewhat of a media blackout, because it's obvious when you look at some of the videos and pictures what's going on. And again, why did suddenly 15 nations urge people to get out any way you can? I don't care if it's a donkey or a camel, you need to get the heck out of there. That's not exactly what they said, but land routes, remember that? The video just a few hours ago. Now, guys, all of these videos right here are from today, February the 27th. Notice that. And these are fires being reported. 12-second video, 22-second video here. The National Union, U.S. or UGC footage shows a major fire at a petrochemical plant right there. And you can see, I know it's hard to see here, and I'll pull it up somewhat, but they're getting tough on using any type of, even the small videos now, as far as copyright strikes. Now, this was going into last night, still technically the 26th. Major fire at a petrochemical plant in Iran. Look at that. Those things don't just happen by themselves usually, unless they're just out of date. But they ship a lot of oil, and they're probably on top of that. That's where they make their money. But that's just one of the images. Now, this is heavy smoke in Parchin. It's home to military facilities, and I think there's a nuclear facility in that area, if I'm not mistaken. It's, again, this is in the Tehran province of Iran, guys, today, February 27th. Now, again, they're saying that this is all started today because of the failed third time, the attempt on the third talk in Geneva about nuclear arms deal with Iran. But in response for the growing war risk, again, several countries, including the UK, China, and Canada, have authorized the departure of embassy staff or urged their citizens to evacuate Iran immediately, guys. And you've got, the Gerald R. Ford aircraft carrier group now is parked off of the Israeli coast. So what would be of course, you got aircraft, but as far as your battle group there, it's a simple shot across Iraq, I don't think there are going to be much problems. You got Syria in there. We don't know how that will work out yet, but I don't think it will be a good thing for the U.S. or for Israel. Now, remember, Israel was warned this morning, or the U.S. warned our embassy in Israel that you need to get everybody out of there that you can, every unessential personnel, and then restrict travel through some of the major sites there in Jerusalem. So they are aware of something happening. And let's take a look at a small map. Because when we're talking about the U.S. Embassy issuing the guidance and the evacuations for all personnel from Israel, but this is coming from France. It says urgent travel advisory. It was issued by the Ministry for Europe and Foreign Affairs. Notice the areas in red, Israel and the West Bank. And their arrow on the map it says Iran escalation risk. And that's exactly right, because they've been dealing with Hezbollah, the Houthis, and everybody else. You got Syria here, a clear path. And Jordan, I think in the end, is going to turn against Israel. We'll just have to wait and see. We don't know the timing on that. It could be almost immediately, depends on Israel's reaction. Will Israel strike with the U.S. in coordination, or will it strike only in a defensive posture to begin with? They're saying the massive U.S. buildup featuring the Gerald R. Ford and the Abraham Lincoln carrier strike groups is positioned to strike the following if nuclear talks failed. Again, yesterday, the third attempt with Kushner, and that group failed. It was about ending completely uranium enrichment in Iran. Iran had said they might do it for 3 to 5 years, no long-term deal or anything, and that didn't go over well at all, so there was no deal. But again, they're positioned to strike the following if nuclear talks failed. Nuclear facilities, key sites like Natanz, Fordow, and Isfahan remain top priorities for degrading Iran's nuclear program. Missile production and launch sites, facilities such as the Qusayr Missile Production Complex and Parchin, specifically the Telegon 2 site, are being monitored for potential strikes to neutralize Iran's ballistic missile threat. So some of these factories or other buildings we're seeing get hit. Missile production sites, shipping. Command and control. Military analysts suggest surgical strikes could target the IRGC operational centers and senior leadership nodes to destabilize the regime's internal control. Again, how deeply they reach into that command center. And if it reaches into the Ayatollah and his son, then that is the trigger point for them crossing their red line, supposedly. Air defense systems will be neutralized, and it says the Iran's indigenous and Russian-supplied S-300 system is a prerequisite for any broader aerial campaign. And that's what we're going to see. We have so much. I think it was 2003 since we had this type of military buildup in the Middle East. Now, again, they're saying despite the accidental official explosions or explanations of the explosions, these events are occurring under extreme tension. It says nearby are nuclear standby. The International Atomic Energy Agency reported today it cannot verify Iran's nuclear suspension due to being blocked from sites damaged in the June 2025 conflict. U.S. readiness. President Trump stated today he has not made a final decision on military power, but emphasized that sometimes you have to act if negotiations fail. And third strike was yesterday. Embassy departure. The U.S. State Department has authorized non-emergency staff to leave the region immediately due to safety risks. Now let's take a look at the map of some of these areas that are having these mysterious explosions. Now, this kind of wraps up that area. You've got the Mediterranean here, Lebanon, Israel, Jordan, Cyprus, Syria, Iraq, Kuwait, Iran, Saudi Arabia here, Egypt, Turkey to the top. Now, what we would be looking at if Israel were to get involved, which they may not, they may just stay in a defensive posture. But remember, we have the Gerald R. Ford over here, and we have 18 bases in the area, plus we have the Kennedy Strike Group. Is that who it is? The other one? We have two major ones there. But so if we were parked off the coast here, it would be missiles lobbed across Jordan or Syria, more than likely Syria, to keep Jordan from getting all wadded up, and then over Iraq into Iran. Now let's bring this up a little closer. Here's the capital right there. That's Tehran. And these green markers are areas that had unusual explosions today, and they're very important areas. This is a missile production area, and the Sharon. Here you have Kosher. This is one of the other areas that would hit. And here is Parchin. Major deal here. This is maybe the other major nuclear facility there. Explosions in this area. And if you look a little further south, reports are coming from here at the Natanz nuclear facility also, guys. So again, the targets are lined up for anything from an airstrike coming across the Gulf of Oman or the Persian Gulf. Remember, we have 18 bases. We have ships on the coast of Saudi Arabia. So and again, look at the line. Wouldn't take much to bring something across here, curve out. And just this line, this is not all the areas, but these are the ones that were mentioned in that first section we were reading about. And again, Parchin is a big deal, okay? So that tells us that these are not accidental. And they don't want to declare that it's an open war yet, but technically it is. And so, again, 15 countries, evac. Israel's under a major target right now. You know, they got everything they've got lined up, from the old stuff from Iron Dome to the new laser stuff and everything else there. There's a lot of webcams in the areas, both in Iran, still active, I'm surprised, also in Israel itself. You've always seen those. But you can look that up on YouTube just if you want to see what's going on. It's nighttime there right now. And that is probably the optimum time, you know, for flights, for military flights, and or maybe even drones and things like that, because they had lined up, guys, rows of drones for the first time that the U.S. military has done it. And these are one-way drones, you know, like kamikaze drones. And they're pretty big. They're not little toys or anything like that. But I just wanted to come in and talk about this, guys, and let's take a look at what Iran is saying as of today. Notice the timestamp at the top. Iran has signaled it is in a state of full readiness for military action, though it has not yet launched a large-scale counteroffensive in response to the day's explosions and fires. While the situation remains extremely fluid, the current fight back involves the following: military readiness and threats. Full alert. Iran has declared full readiness across its drone, missile, and air defense systems. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard has positioned ballistic missile launchers along its southern shores, placing U.S. bases in the region within strike range. Again, we have 18 there. Some have been evacuated. I don't know how many. Another retaliation warning. Senior Iranian officials have warned that they will respond aggressively and disproportionately to any U.S. or Israeli attack. This includes threats to target vessels in the Strait of Hormuz. So it's like everybody's throwing gasoline on the fire, and the fire does not need to be lit. Iran needs to back off of trying to make nuclear weapons and threaten to destroy every other nation in the world that is not Muslim or whatever they are there now. Hell, I can't keep up with it. But again, the Islamic world is about to be set on fire. And that fire is going to spread, because it's not like in the old days. Every nation can be touched within a few minutes. Within 30 minutes, an hour, everything can be hit. So again, they're going to, of course, they're going to hit Israel. They're going to hit our military bases back, if they're allowed to. Now, we got some pretty tough stuff to deal with. And they're going to hit again the Navy. And we looked at the map of Israel. We talked about the West Bank. Now, what has come across the border in the last 4 years before Trump came back in? What is established here, and what is still in Venezuela? What is still across the border? Guys, it's a good time to just think about the things that are important, like I said before. Think about your father. Say a prayer. We need peace. We do, again, there's so much involved here that none of us really know. But is it worth it? Is it worth it to Iran? Because of their martyrdom complex, I think it is. But it seems very misguided. But it is what it is, guys. We're watching it. You watch it. It's a heads up. Be safe. Now, supposedly, it may have happened since I started on this video an hour or so ago, that they're going to release the Hillary video. You know, they couldn't show it live. They wanted to make sure if they needed to doctor it or whatever, they could. Or if something was exposed during the live part that they couldn't cut out, they didn't want that. They said she pretty much lost it. But if they bring some of that out tonight, then we may do a short live stream with it. Now, Bill was testifying today, and they'll probably do the same thing with him. Of course, being the weekend, it may be Monday or Tuesday before they go through his video. But Hillary, according to the reports, basically she said she has nothing to do with Epstein, and better talk to Bill about it. Kind of threw him under the bus from what I read. Anyway, guys, we're watching it. You watch it. It's a heads up. Be safe.